I mentioned at the top of the show the recent turmoil in the bank sector, and especially with the failure of Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, all of the turmoil with First Republic. Often when we think about where do we keep our cash, we think in the bank. And I'm wondering, has that answer changed? I mean, where do you keep your emergency fund?
Yeah, there are more options than just the bank, right? The bank is one of potentially 6 areas that we would consider a good cash reserve or cash-like falling into that category. But the key is that where you're putting the money, so what you're utilizing is liquid, meaning you can get it out really quickly and it's super accessible, that it's short term, you're not locking up your money in something for too long and you can't get to it when you need it, and that it's safe. But yes, we would still consider a savings account, a checking account to be good places to keep your cash reserve, but you have to remember the FDIC limits, and it's very specific to the titling of the account, the beneficiaries in the account, et cetera. We also like and recommend to our clients money market funds, for example, short-term treasury bills, short-term CDs, certificates of deposit. And the last one is I-bonds as well.
I-bonds are interesting. They got a ton of attention last year because inflation was way up, and these bonds protect you from inflation. And if you're not familiar with how they work, you earn a fixed interest rate. This rate changes with inflation. It's reset twice a year based on inflation. It resets in April and November, and the most recent rate through November 30th was 6.89%. So almost 7%, which is great.
Right. I mean, it's a lot higher than what you're seeing in your bank account, certainly. And the rates have been great for the last couple of years, but there's a couple of caveats that I want people to understand about I-bonds. And we do recommend that if you're going to buy I-bonds, that you do so only once you already have 12 months of cash reserves. And the reason is that while I-bonds are technically a 30-year bond, you can redeem them after the first 12 months. But in that first 12 months, they're illiquid. So if you put all your money in I-bonds and then a month later you have an emergency, you can't get it back out. So you've got to make sure that you have enough to get you through that 12 months before you're going to start putting excess cash reserves into I-bonds. And additionally, another thing to note about I-bonds is that if you redeem them in the first 5 years, you will also forfeit the interest for that quarter or the previous 3 months.
And they're limited in terms of how much you can purchase and how you can purchase them. You have to purchase them through Treasury Direct, treasurydirect.gov. That's the website of the U.S. Treasury. You're limited to $10,000 per calendar year per person, although in a slight hack, you can purchase another $5,000 in paper I-bonds if you do it by putting your federal income tax return to work